Hey everybody, like I said, there were so many questions this month, so let's jump into the next 4. And the first question is, I am really overweight, and I realize now that I've had issues with body dysmorphia as well as an eating disorder. I recently found some older pictures of myself from high school and saw how skinny I used to be. Back then, I felt as fat as I actually am now, and I was skipping 2 meals a day. I am now working on losing weight. My question is, how do I learn to accept myself while I'm still fat? I feel like I will always lack value as long as I'm overweight. I also worry that if I someday reach my ideal weight, I might start putting weight back on. If I'm only acceptable once I'm skinny, how will I start to like myself if I manage to balloon back up? Now, I love this question because eating disorders are my shtick. This is what the channel started on. This is my specialty. And I also just love the fact that it's honest because many people feel this way. I'm sure you out there are like nodding along and agreeing. But the truth about it is self-love and appreciation and understanding for our body has nothing to do with our weight. And I know that that's hard to hear, but I need you to listen because it's the truth. It doesn't matter if we're skinny, if we're fat, if we only have one leg, if we're disabled in some way, it doesn't matter. That shouldn't be a reason to hate ourselves. And I know it seems like counterintuitive because it really is, but the best way to start loving on yourself is to start writing thank you letters to your body. Whenever I'm feeling like bad about myself or like I don't look right or even my pants aren't fitting right or I just don't feel cool enough for this party or whatever, trust me, I have my own set of self-conscious issues. Everybody does. I take time to be thankful for the fact that I can walk, I can breathe, I can see you, you can see me, you can hear my voice. There's so many things to be thankful for, and I would encourage you to change the way you talk to yourself about your body. We have to be grateful. And I know that it's hard and it's every day. It's something we have to do every day. So just notice what you're saying to yourself, notice what you believe, and slowly work to change it. Like I talked about before in a live stream, maybe, I was on a panel at ClamorCon last month, and my friend Michael Buckley, who is a life coach, and he was talking about the importance of bridge statements. And it was just a really good reminder for me because we can't go from thinking I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid to I'm beautiful, I'm skinny, and everybody loves me. Those are two completely different thoughts and beliefs, right? So we can't tell people to just talk nicer to yourself, say wonderful things, but we can do bridge statements. And this is a great place to start if you really struggle to even be thankful for your body and say anything nice to it. You can have a bridge statement that's like, maybe it's possible that I'm not as hideous as I believe I am. Maybe. Just maybe. And those are all bridge statements. We can say it's possible that I could be incorrect about this. I might not be as horrible as I feel. I could, and just see how I'm using just these possibility words to help us slowly bridge our way to more positive self-talk. And so I hope that just kind of helps because overall, how we feel about our body has nothing to do with how much we weigh. Question number 2 is, I was wondering if there's a difference between fear of abandonment and separation anxiety. As I said before, I was diagnosed with BPD, and within the BPD diagnosis, there is fear of abandonment. Correct. I know when I was little, I suffered from separation anxiety, but I can't seem to find any information linking the two. Are they totally different things? No, they're actually the same thing. And it was really great to get this question because I was like, wow, I should have said something about that in the videos where I've talked about it. But fear of abandonment is how we describe it when we're adults. Separation anxiety is how it's expressed when we're children. And so it kind of develops over time if we don't understand our separation anxiety as a child, get help, our parent works with us and our attachment kind of heals and we start feeling better. If that doesn't happen, it grows into fear of abandonment. So they legitimately are the same thing, we just talk about them differently depending on when they've happened in our lifetime. And the third question is, in regards to eating disorders, is specialist help absolutely necessary? My psychologist is a trauma specialist but doesn't work in eating disorders at all. However, recently the ED has worsened, yet it's very intertwined in trauma. I have a great relationship with my psychologist, and would you recommend switching psychologists or any other advice? Additionally, how does one deal with the thought that I'd gain weight forever in eating disorder recovery, especially when I go on binge cycles? Okay, the first part of the question. Seeing an eating disorder specialist is not absolutely necessary. If we're seeking treatment for the first time, or our current specialist or therapist or whomever is like, do not treat eating disorders, you'll have to see someone else. If that's not the case, the relationship is the most important thing. The success of therapy actually hinges on that. So if we don't feel good about them and we don't like them and we don't have a good relationship, therapy is never going to work regardless of what their specialty is. So I would stick with your current psychologist. The thing that I would recommend though is adding in a dietitian or a nutritionist in your area who does specialize in eating disorders. That will give you that extra component, someone who can work specifically with the food and like putting together meal plans and stuff like that. They can talk about that with you in your, weekly or bi-weekly appointments. So I would try to add that in. On to the second portion of the question where she asked about how does one deal with the thought that I'd gain weight forever in eating disorder recovery, especially when I go on binge cycles. I want you to watch my old video. I'll link it in the description. It's about extreme hunger and eating disorder recovery because that is a huge component of it. And until we heal our body and heal our metabolism, our hunger fullness cues can be all over the place. And our body can be really, really hungry for a while because it's working to heal all the damage we've done to it. So it's requesting more energy to do so. But working with a dietitian and a nutritionist can help assuage those fears. And I know we're all gonna think we're gonna gain weight forever, and sweet mother of God, if we don't have our eating disorder, we're gonna be so overweight. That's not how it works. If we work with intuitive eating, we're gonna have binge cycles, we're gonna have restriction urges, we're gonna go through recovery up and down, right? It's not linear, it's a process, not perfection. But as long as we're striving to intuitively eat, meaning eating when we're hungry, stopping when we're full, our body will regulate and become the size that it's supposed to be. Not overweight. I know your eating disorder will tell you that's it, but our bodies don't want to be underweight or overweight. They want to be a healthy weight. And so giving your body the time to heal so that it can show you what it's supposed to look like and have you slowly understand and recognize that that's a good thing. And the fourth and final question for this video, but there's more videos coming at you, is I'm wondering why people/society feel like jokes about sex are normal or okay. I understand why I don't find them funny, sexual trauma history and all, but I'm amazed how even people who are married with kids still find ways to say very immature sex jokes that on my end are extremely triggering. I guess I don't understand why people like jokes like that so much. I figured if I could see where they're coming from, maybe I can lessen the triggers that it causes me. This is a really interesting question. And I'm just going to give you like people to people advice because as a therapist, I could talk about like the trauma and why it's triggering to you, but I wouldn't be able to tell you why people necessarily think it's funny because everybody's so different. But overall, speaking in generalizations, people like to make jokes. Sex is a funny thing for a lot of people because it doesn't hold any power over them. Sex is an enjoyable thing that they can have casually or seriously with people that they either don't even know or people that they love. So why not poke fun at it? There's no emotional attachment to sex for a lot of people, and I think that's why they enjoy the jokes. Also, when it comes to sense of humor, everybody's so different, and what may make me laugh, you may think is totally juvenile or stupid, or you might think it's really offensive. That's why comedy is so varied, and I know that it's going to be triggering for you, but people just find it funny because sex can be funny. If you don't have any emotional or trauma attachment to it, it's just a thing. In the same way that we'd make jokes about, waiting in line at something or another relatable thing that a lot of people encounter. And sex is something a lot of people engage in and they find it to be really funny to talk about. And I wish I had a better answer, but that's just the truth about people. Comedy is so varied and whatever people want to poke fun at, they'll poke fun at. And sex is kind of one of those things that everybody loves to talk about because most people are having it. I hope you found those answers helpful. Like I said, there are so many more questions coming your way, so I'll see you over in the next video. Bye.